Hey everybody, it's Bleu Loope.
It's Bleu Loope.
In this video, we are going to be kind of redoing a refresh with her on driving the Celine.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, it has. If you go back, I'll link at the end of this video, and then also link in the description to the first time I taught her how to drive a manual shift was in this car, and she was 12 years old. We got some interesting information when we went to Road Atlanta and did her first track day, and so it's kind of had to spur us along to do a bit more kind of a refresher on making sure she's really squared away on manual shift transmission. Like I say, I imagine she's going to be fairly rusty because it's been a solid 3 years.
I'm definitely a bit rusty.
Yeah, a solid 3 years. I think you were 13 when we did the airstrip.
Yeah, I think that was the last thing we did, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. So definitely a learning curve again, but we're just going to go through all the basics. One of the things we discussed already, kind of prior to me getting the camera set up, was just to get her familiar with where the gears are, at least in this car. It's a first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. It's a 5-speed transmission. The one thing I try to remind her was, always when you get in the car, first thing you're going to do is just find neutral, get that nice where you know it's out of all the gears before you start the car. And when you're done with the car, you always want to start with the clutch in. Just as a reminder, as far as ease of finding gears, when you're trying to find first and second, those are the furthest gears closest to her. So basically you take the shifter while you're in neutral, push it to you or pull it to you, and then you can push forward to go into first, and then the same thing to come into second. You keep it pulled to you and you drop it down in the second. The middle line, the third and fourth shift, you could just about almost any car, if you just let the shifter kind of find its center, that's naturally gonna find that third to fourth run. So let it get to center, and if you just pushed it forward, it would go into third, and if you just pull it back, it will go into fourth. So the first and second gears, you keep it pulled to you, go to first, go to second. Third and fourth gears, you let it find its own center, push it forward, it'll go to third, pull it back, it'll go to fourth. And for the final gear, at least in this car, fifth gear is all the way towards me, and what you're going to do is push away from you and then push forward, and that will get on into fifth. So just kind of a crash course we did before we actually got the cameras on. So let's see here. So we're in the driveway. I think really the best thing to do here is going to be, she's already kind of felt where the clutch kind of engages just when we backed out of the garage. So I guess the biggest thing right now is just really you can just coast down. You want to do some hill starts in first before we get out here on the main road? Yeah, let's just kind of get the feel of that.
Yeah, let's do some hill starts.
The best way to find how that clutch is going to engage is, at this point, what I would do is just leave your foot on the brake. Yep. And what you're going to watch is your RPM gauge, and watch as you start to release that clutch. When you see that needle just start to drop, that's an indicator for you. Okay, there's where my clutch usually is going to try to engage. So just kind of get familiar yourself with that, where that happens.
Takes a second. There it is.
There it is. So push it back in. All right, so you know where it's at, right? Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and just, again, kind of familiar yourself with just bringing your foot from the brake to the gas pedal. Let's see if I can liven that up a little bit. From the brake to the gas pedal, and I'm not even going to want you to try to go. All I'm wanting you to do is keep your foot on the clutch, take your foot off the brake, give it a little rev on the gas pedal, and then back to the brake. And you're going to roll back a little bit when this happens, but this is a good place to learn. Back on the brake. Perfect. Okay, so go ahead and get a feel for where that clutch is one more time.
I think it's right here. Yep.
There you go. And go ahead and pat that gas one more time. All right, so you kind of right there with all your time, right there coming off the brake, patting the gas, coming back to the brake. We rolled back about 1.5 feet. Not very far. But, you know, if somebody's really riding your butt at the traffic light, that might get a little close. So you got to get used to that. So let's see if you can really make that happen and without rolling back real far. You got a little, I mean, it went up, you know, you got 500 RPMs. So yeah, and I think you only rolled back maybe 3 or 4 inches.
Okay.
Do it again. Just go ahead and there you go. Perfect. You got 1,000 RPMs, and you barely roll back an inch or 2.
Okay.
So good. So you're practicing that twitch response, you know,
Yeah.
and your reflexes kind of thing, right?
Okay.
So now you're kind of putting all that together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so now you're going to be doing that, but don't worry about going so fast, right? You know, you know you can go fast if you need to, right?
Yeah.
So now you're going to be starting to let that clutch out until you see that needle start to move.
Okay.
And then you know you're right on the edge of the clutch. You can roll nice and easy, nice and smooth, come off your brake and go to the gas and start evening those two out. Your clutch is going to be coming off, and you may be giving a little bit of gas. You may not have to give it much gas at all. The car's got pretty good torque,
Okay.
so go ahead and practice that.
I want to see where the. Okay.
There you go. There's the clutch.
So
Start easing that clutch out, and then come off the brake. And start bringing the clutch on out as you go. And clutching. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So that wasn't bad. You didn't kill the car. Kind of the RPMs kind of jumped around, right? It didn't feel smooth.
Yeah.
But that comes with time again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to do it? You want to back down a little bit further and do it again, or just do it from here?
I'll back down.
Do that once or twice, so you start really feeling confident.
Okay. So clutch out. I'm still going back. How much?
You remember, you don't need a lot of gas for this car. Now, if you was on a big hill, I'm talking like, you know, San Francisco's whatever, or some of the hills in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, you may have to give it that kind of throttle. But more than likely, more clutch off.
Or yeah, more clutch off.
A little less throttle.
Yeah.
If it dies, it dies. All you gotta do is just push the clutch in and put the brake on.
Yeah. Yep, there it goes.
So you're kind of chasing one or the other, right?
Yeah.
All right. So just keep playing with it. It's eventually what you're looking for is that muscle memory.
Yeah.
You get that feel of when the clutch is really engaging and biting, right? And it's still starting to put power to the ground. And then you start noticing your RPMs dropping too much or coming up too quick, and that's where you find that play between clutch and gas. That was really good. You could have you found a nice little happy medium between your clutch and gas right there.
Yeah.
But then I think
I stopped on the clutch.
Yeah, I think you come back off a little too. What do you think you did right then?
I don't know, honestly.
I think you basically you keep kind of second guessing yourself on the clutch.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and.
Do I let the clutch all the way out?
Oh yeah, you're eventually gonna. You remember that?
Yeah.
Right? You got clutch has got to be off.
I know, but like right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you've kind of got it engaged and you're rolling up the hill, then you can. Hell, this car will idle up this hill. I'm sorry if I didn't tell you that. You don't have to continue riding that clutch up the hill. Perfect. I think that was my fault. I wasn't telling you. Just go ahead and come on off the clutch.
Okay.
So that was my fault. I think you were trying to figure out a way to play. Is that what it was? You were kind of trying to figure out how to play both of them?
That was part of it, yeah.
My fault. So yeah, ultimately you know, again, that's me just taking it for granted. So yeah, your goal is to get off that clutch. Now, there's certain times where you got to ride both of them, stuff like that there, but ultimately your goal is to get the clutch out. That's a good balance right there.
Okay.
That was a good balance right there. I could tell you were balancing them a little bit for a second there, and you really balanced them really well. That was good. That was really good. That was really good.
Okay, cool.
That was pretty much spot on.
Okay, cool.
Let's go ahead and do 2 or 3 more of those.
Okay.
Now here's the deal. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a little pressure on you too. So that right there is perfect. So I'm gonna put a little pressure on you. You're going to have to imagine that a car is behind you.
Okay.
You're sitting in traffic.
I can't
green
roll
light.
Yeah.
So if you mess up, you just messed up. Deal with it and move on.
Yeah.
Right? Not like, oh, I got to think about it and let me. No, you got to deal with it and readjust, clutch back in, and set everything back up. Right?
Okay.
All right. So traffic light's green. That was extremely choppy, but
okay.
Very good. Very good. That was real smooth. Man, that was awesome.
Yay.
Let's do 1 or 2 more of those.
I'll do 2.
All right.
Maybe 3.
Okay.
I don't want to go out in the traffic.
Yeah. Eventually, and there's always going to be a nerve to it, right? Even to this day. There's times I get on certain hills and somebody pulls real close to my bumper. I'm not happy with it. I'm like mad at them because they're so close to my bumper because I'm a little nervous about my ability to make sure I don't roll back.
Yeah.
So far, the one thing I will say is, throughout all this, you haven't rolled back.
Really?
Yeah, you haven't rolled back at all.
I haven't paid attention.
So, and you probably didn't realize that, but so that's the biggest thing you're trying to prevent is rolling back. Okay, I want you to try something this time. Instead of doing this fight, where you're trying to catch your speedometer, your tachometer dropping.
Yeah.
I want you to start to come off on your clutch, move your foot over to the gas, give it a rev. Right? Get that higher RPM, and as soon as you start to get that higher RPM, you know, the 2,000 plus RPMs, start coming off that clutch.
Okay.
And I think you're going to like how that feels a little better, where you feel like you're kind of doing more engaging in the clutch, just with the clutch, as opposed to trying to do both of them at the same time.
So
ultimately, you're going to
clutch and rev, and then start clutching out.
Yeah, go ahead and start. Come off the clutch, you know, and get close to where you know the clutch normally engages.
I'm there.
Okay, so now go ahead and come off. Give it a little rev. It don't matter if you rev it high. No.
I am very. What was that?
It's the brakes. Vibrate.
Oh, I didn't like that. Okay, what is happening?
The car's off.
Okay.
For some reason you revved. I saw you do it.
And then I went clutch in.
No.
I went clutch in.
Well, you may have done clutch in, but that wasn't the problem. You revved and your foot went right back over your right foot, went right back over the brake for some reason. Forget the brake.
Okay.
The brake's not, when you decided you wanted to go, the brake's not what you're using anymore to keep you from going backwards.
Yeah.
It's accelerating. It's throttle. It's engaging the clutch.
Yep.
So once you've made up your mind, I'm going to go, forget that brake. Right? Now you're doing everything with throttle and clutch. Commit to it. Very good.
Oh, that was way better.
That was one of the best ones.
That.
Yeah. You used a bit more throttle that time. So I think maybe that was a good thing to put in there. So next time, once you've decided you're going to go, forget that brake. Commit to throttle and clutch is what's going to get you going.
Okay.
You said I want to do it 2 more times about.
Well, that was a different tactic, though.
Just commit to it.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Commit to this thing like you don't mind if it barks the tires. Right? It doesn't matter. You just need to get going. There you go. That wasn't bad. So I think this is probably a pretty good little thing to consider.
Yeah.
So far you've experienced, there's 2 things you're going to experience when you engage, when you start on a hill with a manual shift car. There's 2 things you're going to experience. Well, there's 3. One, you're going to do it right, or good enough to call it right. The other 2 is going to be a fail. One's going to fail and the engine dies. The other's going to be a fail and you spin the tires. And I know which one's cooler.
Spinning the tires.
Yeah. If I'm going to fail, at least I'm going to go with a little barking of the tires. And if a cop's there, go, I'm still learning my clutch.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. And he's going to believe you or he ain't, and you'll deal with it. But the dying at a traffic light, there's not many things more embarrassing than you chugging off and dying at a traffic light or a stop sign. There's not many more things embarrassing than that. So if I'm going to fail one way or another, it's going to be because I spun the tires or barked the tires taking off.
Okay.
So you failed multiple times now killing the engine. So if you're going to fail from this point forward, the only way I want you to fail is if you spin the tires.
Oh no! I don't want to do that.
Well, you may not. You may not spin the tires. But that's the commitment I want you to have. It's like I am not going to kill the engine anymore. right? So your commitment from this point forward,
No more killing the engine.
yeah, is you're not killing the engine, and that even comes to the point where you may be spinning the tires to prevent that from happening.
Okay.
So the way you fell, you cannot kill this engine anymore, right? The only way you can.
But what if I do?
What if you do?
What if I accidentally still do?
That's not an option. I'm just not even gonna say what if you do. You're just not.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I want you to be aggressive. And you may fail being aggressive, but I'd rather you fail being aggressive than the other way.
Okay. Okay. Is that okay?
It's fine with me. That one didn't bug me at all. I wouldn't even call that was a fail. I was like, that's the way I would come off the line, you know, if I wanted to be a little aggressive.
You told me to be aggressive.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't call that a fail. And you hardly use the clutch. All the other things too is if you're doing it in an aggressive manner and coming off the clutch like you just did, that's going to help the life of this clutch. Your clutch, my clutch in particular, in this case. So I'd much rather you be off the clutch and not burning the clutch up. Right?
Yeah.
Done. And get off that thing. And so the more you're in this playing in the clutch range, the harder it is on that clutch.
Okay.
Oh, that was smooth.
Was it?
That was dead on, man. That was perfect. That was a perfect come off the line right there on the hill.
Okay. One more time.
All right.
You got tired of it.
No, it's part of it. It's part of the learning. You're starting back from the basics.
I'll just be doing this all day.
And don't overthink it. Right
Just
here.
do it.
You're right now. So you're thinking this is your final one.
Yeah.
Make this one your final one.
Yeah.
And if anything's going to happen, it's the final one that you spun the tires on.
Okay.
I'm not saying that go for spinning the tires.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to kill the engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't kill the engine.
No. But that worked. You got it done. So, on that one in particular,
What did I do?
the thing you kind of did was you felt like I'm guessing here, but you felt like you went high on the RPM, so you got a bit nervous to just come on off the clutch. So you kind of held the clutch for a while instead of just smoothing it out.
I did.
But I mean, you smoothed it out, even though you went high on RPM. You still didn't make either one of our heads jump around. So that was fine.
Okay.
So let's get out here and roast some gears.